Welcome back to another episode of the Blue Blood Report. Here with Coach Keith Honore. Missing one today.
Yeah.
John's got appearance fees going on today. We gotta watch out for him.
Couldn't afford him today.
That's right. That's right. He does. He gets paid per autograph.
That's right. That's right.
Well, let's start the week. John was out there earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
He got to see you all at Hilton.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said it was probably the best game of the year that he's seen.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great atmosphere. A lot of people in the place. A lot of the community came out to see it. It was a game for. We were both tied for first place. We were both undefeated in the conference at the time, and just a great game. Hilton came out and took it to us right from the beginning. I mean, they jumped on us early, and then we were able to claw our way back, and I think we were down at halftime, and then made some adjustments halftime, came out in the second half. Kids just put on a great display of basketball. Both teams. Yeah. It was what a crosstown rival game should be. It was fun. A fun game to coach in, fun game to play in, and it went right down to the wire. And we had some really spectacular plays at the end of the game. There was John did a clip. If you look out there on Twitter where it was a loose ball situation and there was a one possession game, and our kid went down on the floor. Rajon Woods went down on the floor against four Hilton guys, and I don't know how he came out of that pack with the basketball, but he came up with it. Just sheer determination. He was able to get the ball to Jakari. Kari finished the layup and put us up 2 possessions, and then we were able to go ahead on and finish it out.
Yeah. Well, you all outscored them 33-20 in the second half. Mm-hmm. For a young team like you got, what does that tell you about your team when something like that happens? When they can, in a tough game, like you said, both of you guys undefeated in the conference coming in. Mm-hmm. What does that tell you about your young team when they can do that in the second half? Just
what I already knew. I realized early on back in the spring that this team, I didn't know what we were going to do in terms of wins and losses and how the season was going to end up. But one thing I always knew about this group, they were going to fight. Mm-hmm. They're fighters. They want to be good. I've always said they want to be. They want to hold the rope of that Potomac tradition. That's important to them. So I think understanding our tradition and wanting to have their own legacy and carve out their own spot in our legacy. That gives them the will to fight. And, what we lack in experience, what we lack in talent, they make up for, with effort and determination and heart.
Yeah. It's funny. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I was saying, talent is great. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But when you got guys that'll work and outwork other people, yeah, that makes a big difference. What do you like to see? Obviously, having both in a player is great. Sure. But when you're dealing with guys, especially young guys coming in, what do you look for more?
Honestly, you look for one or two. We look for one or two things in guys. We look for guys who either love to win or they hate to lose. And if you can get one of those two characteristic traits in a guy, that's gonna resolve a lot of issues like lack of talent, lack of height. Lack of skill. If you love to win, you'll do whatever it takes to win, and will can overcome talent. And right now, not that our guys aren't talented, because they certainly are. Right. But their will right now, their will to fight and their will to win it's really remarkable to see that in such young kids. So. The other thing we look for, we want guys who want to be at Potomac. We're living in an age now where kids have so many options, and then they have so many people, especially if they're really talented, have them pulling them in different directions, and promising them things like, we'll play you at this position. You'll start if you come here. We're not doing that. I want guys who are 100% committed, who love Potomac and who really want to be there. And if you can get kids like that, now you have a kid who's working out of a commitment as opposed to working out of, say, fear, Right. And that's what we got. We got a bunch of guys who love Potomac and they want to be a part of that thing, and that's why we're able to have some success.
Well, is it the tradition at the school that kind of builds that in for the guys coming in, or is it just that particular, the particular players that you get in there? Because not every school's got that, where guys come in and they understand that tradition that's there and all that stuff. So what do you think it is about it?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. Our tradition started long before me. And we've been fortunate to keep it going. I was blessed to be able to take over after Kendall Hayes, and Kendall started that tradition there. But when you walk in our gym, if you look up on the wall, it's pretty impressive.
Right.
We got to now get a second banner just to hold our regional and conference championships. And we walk in, and I always make sure to point out to the kids what they're walking into. And then my job as the head coach of Potomac, I'm the storyteller.
Right.
It's my responsibility to make sure the likes of Roland Roberts, Tannell Harris, Eric Hayes, make sure, what they've come to Potomac and done, make sure that doesn't die. Make sure our kids understand when you put on a number 10 jersey, that's not your jersey. That's Mookie Felder's jersey. When you put on a number 4 jersey, it's not your jersey. That's Roland Roberts' jersey. Mm-hmm. So, because nowadays, kids put on a jersey and they don't think about it. Well, it's a little different at Potomac. You're not putting on your jersey. You put on a number 5, you're putting on a Sherman Rivers jersey or Eric Hayes jersey. And I think it's important that they know that, because now that's a little bit more pressure for them to go out and perform.
That's all. That's awesome. Because, like you said, not everybody's got that.
Right.
That's a very unique thing that you guys got going on over there. Yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about the millennials and today's teenagers and stuff like that, and a lot of people bash them. I don't think kids today get enough credit for how much they put in to sports and how dedicated they are to something. What do you see? I mean, you've seen you've seen guys throughout the years. What do you think about that?
Kids have so many more resources than you or I had. I mean, look at this place we're in right now.
Right.
I mean, we didn't have anything like this. And I think, some of the criticism is accurate, but some's not. Times have changed. I think kids now, they really, the ones who are really committed, they put in a lot of work. They live it. They eat it, they breathe it, and they're able to do that because of a couple things have happened. We now have kids who are only one sport athletes now. When I came up, I played 2 and 3 sports. Well, now, they've committed themselves to one sport year round. Some say that's good, some say that's bad. That's not for me to say, but yeah, I agree. I do think they don't get as much credit as they deserve, but I also do think some of the criticism is fair.
Yeah. Well, you guys, you had another game this week?
We did.
You had 2 more games this week.
Yep.
You had a little stumble against Garfield.
We did, yes.
That was the first time since 2013 where they've been able to beat you. Tell me about that game. Take us through that.
We came out right in warm-ups. Our leading scorer, Nick Pullum, had some knee issues, and he came to me. He just said, "Coach, I just don't think I can do it tonight. It's bothering me." So we decided to sit Nick. It was literally a game time decision. We sat Nick for the game and didn't play him. But with all that being said, we had our opportunities to win it. Number one, and number two, I don't want to take anything from Garfield. Those guys came out and played tough and played well, and they beat us. So hats off to Garfield for doing that. That was our first conference loss in 4 years. We had a 36-game conference winning streak. But it all started with me. I tell you, I have to take credit for that loss. I don't think I coached them well that night. I thought my energy wasn't what it should have been. I thought our coaching staff, the energy wasn't what it should have been, and I think it trickled down to our kids. And as the game went along, when they needed encouragement, they needed to be pushed, and they needed us to be positive. I didn't think I did a well enough job, and it bit us in the butt. On the Saturday morning, we had a walkthrough, and I told our kids, I apologized. I said, look, Coach is taking this one. This one's on me, and I promised those guys that would never happen again. What we did was unacceptable, and we're going to learn from it, and we'll be better for it.
Was it players can figure out different ways to get energy up before a game.
Sure.
You can once you get on the court, you start doing drills, warm ups, whatever. You can kind of get your energy up. What do you do as a staff to get your energy as coaches up?
It's the same thing we ask the kids. Body language. Body language is huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's huge. Your body language screams your mood. And kids feed off their coach's energy. I truly believe that if you've got a group that listens and they work hard for you, they have to feed off your energy. They feed off your emotions. And for whatever reason, my worst nightmare came true. I didn't lead our guys in the manner in which I should have, and you can see it in the body language, you can see it in our energy, and it just and again it came back and bit us in the butt, and I'm still sick about I let our guys down. I never want to do that, and I felt like I did that night.
And those, you've been coaching a long time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But those are still lessons that you still learn along the way.
I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
When you stop learning, it's time for you to get out of the game. Yeah. I feel that way. I'm always, great coaches are always looking for ways to get better, regardless of how many games you won, how many championships. You owe it to your players, you owe it to the kids, you owe it to the program to always improve. And so, the day I stop trying to improve and stop trying to learn, it's time for me to go.
Well, you had a game that you got a chance to bounce back this week.
We did, yep.
You had a game against Freedom. You guys kind of jumped out and took control in that one.
We did. Mm-hmm.
What, Pullman back?
Pullman played Saturday. Okay. Yeah, Pullman played Saturday. That's the beauty of basketball, and it's why you play the game. You can come out and play like we played against Garfield and then turn around the very next night and be polar opposite. I mean, I think we scored like 33, 35 points against Garfield and then turn around and scored 77 against Freedom. So, again, that was tough to do. You usually see stuff like that with an experienced team. Mm-hmm. It's tough to do with an inexperienced young team. And I was really, really proud of how they bounced back. I was really proud of their energy. I was really proud of their effort. And Freedom jumped on us. Freedom jumped on us too early in the first quarter, and we were down 2 at halftime. Again, we made some adjustments. The difference was we all stayed positive. Mm-hmm. We didn't let the fact that we were down change our mood. It didn't change our body language. We stayed confident. We stayed positive, made the adjustments. Kids came out and executed, and we were able to run away with it in the second half.
Well, I'm looking here. Jalen Williams had 13 and 12 in the game. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, 12 and 13 in the game.
Right.
It's got to be a good game. You got a guy in double-doubles like that.
Well, I know Jalen's going to see this, so I have to be honest. Jalen actually had 13 and 13.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we got to give him his point. He'll be mad if we don't give him his point. So
he had 8 too, though.
He had 8 assists. I was going to say that. Well, the other part, he had 13 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and only 1 turnover.
Goodness.
And him and himself and Ray Woods, they share the point guard duties. Mm. That's extremely impressive.
Yeah.
But if you go back and you look at our games, he's probably had 7 or 8 games like that. We really don't have an opportunity to publish those type of things. The only thing that really gets put out there are points. But he does so much for our basketball team. He's the head of the snake, and we told him Saturday morning, we go as he goes, and he accepted that challenge, and he came out Saturday afternoon and he led us and he got us going in the right direction. So kudos to him for that.
There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You go 13, 13, and 8. That's a good day.
That's impressive. Yeah.
All right. So something John and I talked about on the show, shot clock. Mm-hmm. Got to have a shot clock in basketball.
VHSL has to do it, but if you notice, VHSL has a trend. They're kind of the last to do everything. The VHSL, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. VHSL is not quick to make changes. Right. VHSL for so long has had a great model that there was no need to change it. But I think it only helps the game to have a shot clock.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that, and I think you're going to see it. I think it's going to come here probably within the next, I imagine, 3 to 5 years. I mean, that's still a long time, but
Yeah.
I imagine within the next 3 years, you're probably going to see a shot clock in VHSL because, again, it's only going to enhance the game. It's only going to make the game better, and it's preparing kids for the next level.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. So I imagine you'll see it here.
Yeah, I think it can make a game. You know as well as I do that there's guys that put on the four corners and stuff like that in the last. It drives me crazy.
Yes.
It just makes basketball hard to watch. But it also underprepares players to play at the next level.
Sure.
That's my biggest issue with it, is that you're not giving guys and girls a chance to prepare for the next level and play with that shot clock.
Yep.
Got to do it.
Well, what I like about it, it's gonna force us as coaches to coach different.
Yeah.
Now you have to coach. You know, you have to really change how you coach and how you call plays and when you call plays. It changes how you coach the game at the end of quarters, the end of the half, and the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it's you know, for me, I look at it as a challenge, and you know, I welcome it if they do it. You know, it'd be a challenge for me as a coach to change my thought process and learn something new.
Yeah. Well, switching gears, let's talk about a couple of things I've seen in the NBA recently that I wanted to ask you about. One, I don't know if you saw the pass that LeBron made to Dwayne Wade the other day. That was he was scrambling to get it. He's facing the other basket, grabs it, goes behind his back, between a guy's legs, and Dwayne Wade catches it and finishes. You can't be taught that, right?
No.
That's something that you're born with, and not everybody's got it. Not many have it.
No. That's why he is who he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, when I see stuff like that, my initial reaction is, you know, I put my hands in my head and I'm just like, oh God, watch some kid's gonna try this at practice tomorrow. You know, so my initial, before I can appreciate the play, I'm praying that one of our guys don't try it in practice or a game. And then I sit and relish it a little bit. But you know, LeBron's a special talent, man. He's a once in a lifetime talent. And he's able to do things like that. You know, I mean, if you look back at some of the stuff he's done in his career, I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, the thing I wanted to ask you about it was, have you been around guys? Now, obviously, you know, nobody's been around a guy like that. But have you been around guys who have that natural feel for a game, or is there somebody that sticks out in your mind?
Yes. Yes. I tell you, in my opinion, you know, we've had so many great players at Potomac. You know, there's always, I love when our guys argue about who's the best team that ever played, and I just gracefully bow out of that conversation. Who's the best player? You know, I don't know who the best player to ever play at Potomac is because we've had so many, but the one that I'll say was the most exciting for me to watch was Mookie Felder. He had some plays in high school that were just, it left you standing there like, did he just do that? You know, he was a special talent. Mookie was a special talent. I remember at the Salem Civic Center, it's a 2-on-1 break. Mookie's on the right side. I think we had probably Roland Roberts on the left. Kids backpedaling, 2-on-1. Mookie takes the ball and he throws it towards Roland as a bounce pass, but he put a spin on the ball. Ball hits the ground behind the guy backpedaling. It hits behind the kid, turns to go guard Roland. The ball bounces and comes right back to Mookie, and he lays up. And I look up at the Salem Civic Center, and I see these little kids just running around the top of the Civic Center, like, and I'm just like, unbelievable. He was another special talent, you know. So I've seen a lot of great plays in our own gym, you know. And of course, I've seen some other stuff, but Mookie probably was one of the most exciting to me.
Now, if a guy on Potomac tries that tomorrow, what you gonna say?
Hey, listen, he can live to see another day if it works. I mean, he could live to see another if it works. But if it doesn't, my goodness, oh my goodness, it's not gonna be a good day. So
trouble.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's you know what? That's the things I wish we had more video of things like that.
Oh man, he was an incredible. But we again, you know, we've had so many.
Yeah.
I mean, just. I could go on and on about the guys, you know, and I like talking about our guys to our current guys, you know, just to get them to understand what they're walking into and get them to understand that it's bigger than them. Potomac is so much bigger than Keith Honore. It's so much bigger than our players. It's truly a special, unique place.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It's awesome. You know what? We're going to leave it right there. Thank you, Coach.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next week.
Will do.
That's great.